Presentation on Consideration and Capital Goods. Presentation by Akhilesha K. MCom Final, MPM Government First Grade College, Karkala. Consideration. Consideration under GST Section 2 Subsection 28 define the term consideration as following. Consideration in relation to supply of goods and or services to any person. It means it is a relation to supply of goods and services. It includes any payment made or to be made, whether in the money or otherwise in response to or for the endorsement of the supply of goods and services, whether by the said person or by any other person, but shall not be include any subsidy given by the central government or the state government. It means in the year mainly focuses on goods. When they send goods to other person, after the send goods, payment made or to be made, the government does not give any subsidy. It subsidy means any benefit not be given to the that person. Next, the monetary value of any act or forbearance, whether or not voluntary, in respect of the in response to or for the endorsement of the supply of goods and or services, whether by the said person or by any other person, but shall not include any subsidy given by the central government or state government. The previous point and this point regular same, but in this point the focus is on more services. When the service is given to any other person, the government will never give any subsidy, mean benefit to any other person. Provided that a deposit, whether refundable or not, given in respect of the supply of goods and or services shall not be considered as payment made for the supply of unless the supplier applies the deposit as consideration for the supply. In here, deposit not refund, and also it is not applicable to the goods and services. Next, consideration in relation to supply. Payment received will not be treated as consideration if there is no direct link between the payment and the supply, or there is no supply of goods services in return for the payment. In here, there will be no direct link between payment and supply. And also, however, if there is a direct link between the payment and supply, or if there is a supply of goods or services in return for the payment, then such a payment like exchange, barter, etc. shall be treated as consideration for the supply and will be subject to GST. In here, second point, there will be direct link because of barter system. In barter system, in there will exchange of goods each others, so it will be consideration and to subject to GST. Next, consideration may be monetary or non-monetary. Consideration can be in monetary or non-monetary in form of partly in monetary form and partly in monetary form. Monetary consideration means payment by way of cash or cash equivalent, physical or plastic instrument like check or credit card, bank transfer and deduction from bank. The in the monetary consideration means the payment will be given to other person like in the form of cash or cash equivalent, mean by using of credit and debit card or by using of check and deduction from bank account. Next one is non-monetary consideration. Non-monetary consideration is goods or services provided as payment, example in a barter or part of exchange agreement. When you see this picture, there will be clear image of barter system. The lady want that book, the men want that banana. So there will be exchange each item to each person. So there will be non-monetary consideration. Next one, payment which may not be consideration. First one is donation. The donation is not consideration because there is a no supply of goods or services by the occupants to the donor in return. Second one is grant. If a grant are given freely in which the guarantor does not receive any benefit in return, then they are not consideration for any supply and are therefore outside scope GST. If a grant given to the researcher and in return the guarantor receive a research finding exclusively for in his own benefit, then the person receiving the grant must be account for GST on the research services on tax inclusive basis. Third one is sponsorship payment. Sponsorship payment which involves the sponsor receiving the clearly identifiable benefit in return either in term of advertising and publicity consideration for any supply. On other hand, if the sponsorship does not involve any identifiable benefit in return, then the sponsorship payment will not consideration for the supply. Last one is deposit. Deposit, whether the refundable or not refundable, or in the form of security given in respect of any supply of other goods and services, is the not part of the consideration for the supply. If it is does not in the form of part of payment for the supply, generally most of deposit payment represent the consideration as the amount of paid over the intent by the parties to the contract to the offset against by the purchase of price when the supply has been made. Such a payment fall with the scope of GST and tax must be accounted for the own receipts of the deposit. Next, example for deposit. A contractor is required to submit a security deposit in the form of a banker guarantee of certain percentage of the contract sum of non-performance. Since the deposit will be refunded upon the completion of the contract, it is a not subject to GST. As there is no supply made, however, where such a contractor to give such an advance payment to be used in of setting against future process payment, GST is chargeable on this advance payment. In here, a contractor will deposit some non-performance performance, since this deposit will be refunded upon the completion of that project. If it is in here, GST is not applicable. GST is applicable only when there is advance payment to the payment will be applicable on GST. Next one, capital goods. Capital goods, section 2 subsection 19 of the Central Goods and Services Tax CGST Act 2017. The term of capital goods means goods the value of which the capitalized in book as per section F account of the person claiming the input tax credit and which are used to intention to be used in the course of furtherance of business. It means input tax credit play the significant role in calculating and claiming the taxes under the ambit of goods and services tax. Next, the input tax credit rule for the capital goods under the GST. A credit of input tax will be not be available on following. First one, a capital goods used exclusively for effecting exempt supplies. Second one, B capital goods used exclusively for non-business personal activity. It means these 2 points. Even the if such a goods or services are used in the course of furtherance of business, input tax credit will not be available, but this rule does not apply to plant or machinery. Input tax credit available on input used to manufacture plant and machinery. Input tax is available on input used machinery and plant and machinery for own use. Next one, credit of input tax will be available in totality where the capital goods has been used for effecting taxable supply and business activity without any restriction. It means without any restriction, any person can use the tax and to be business activity or the capital goods. Next, C point. Amount of input tax refunded in above point A and B must be indicated in the form of GS star 2, and however only point B will be credited to electronic credit ledger. Electronic credit ledger mean the electronic credit ledger reflects the amount of input tax credit available to the taxpayer. Thus, every claim of input tax credit of the registered taxpayer eligible for the claiming such a credit is credited to this ledger. Next one, D point, where the capital goods which were earlier used for intend to be exclusive used for non-business purpose and affecting the exempt supplies later be used commonly for business and non-business purpose and affecting taxable and exempt supplies. Next, input tax be credited to electronic credit ledger will be formula input tax minus 5% of input tax for every quarter or part of thereof. Let us understand the situation through an example. Mr. Sandesh bought a capital goods intended to be used for effecting exempt supply only rupees 1 lakh, paying rupees 18,000 as input tax on 1/4/2019, and now on 15/11/2020 he wishes to use the capital goods commonly for taxable and exempt supply. Now the eligible common input tax credit will be calculated as follows. Input tax minus 5% of input tax for every quarter or part of thereof, 18,000 minus 5%, 80,000 into 3 quarter year months, 18,000 minus 2,700, 15,300. Now, Mr. Sandesh will be credited rupees 15,300 to electronic credit ledger and follow the steps. So, in the point D, calculation the input tax attributed to exempt to supply of out of common credit. Next, under the following circumstances, an attributed credit of input tax will be added to the output tax availability. First one, where the normal taxpayer of the pay tax under the compensation scheme or goods and services supplied by him become expense. Every registered person who registration is cancelled. There are certain causes regarding input tax credit will be added to output tax liability. Input tax credit involve the remaining useful life in month shall be computed pro rata basis, taking the useful life of 5 years. Pro rata basis means proportion basis they are taking. Thank you.